Welcome, welcome, welcome. You're in the right place at the right time. It must be Tuesday, and we're going to have a very fun filled show today. I tell you, my guest is in the green room waiting to join us, and I'm excited to have her here. She has been on the show before. She is joining us again. She had so much fun that she didn't come back till now. So I am glad to have her here with us today. Miss Jaime Gill is in the wings waiting. So without further ado, I'm going to get into my shout outs and my announcements that I do each and every time that I go live. The first thing I want to do is give a shout out to all of the healthcare heroes that have been on the front line helping to keep our loved ones alive. They've been healing them, helping them, patching them back up, and sending them back to us. And I am so glad that they are there doing what they do because I tell you, it's so many folks that have been sick over the last couple of years that without them, we don't know what it would look like. So I always like to give them a shout out, let them know that somebody is thinking about them and somebody cares about what they have done. And I'm shouting them out every chance I get because I appreciate them. And even though they have just declared that the mask mandate is officially supposed to be over with all around the country and all around the world. Well, I'm here to tell you, continue to wear your mask, y'all. Don't fall for the rope a dope, okay? Keep wearing your mask, keep your distance, keep washing your hands, and continue to be safe because we don't know if this thing is completely gone yet. I'm just going to say it like that. We just don't know. Okay? So just because you take your mask off and you go back out in the public, and the next thing you know, you got something that could not be good for you. So be safe. Continue to stay safe. Better safe than sorry. Okay? I'm just going to say it like that. Also, like to give a shout out to all of the pastors and spiritual leaders that have been on the front line for the last couple of years, seeking the face of God, keeping us informed on what God is doing at a time like this. And if you've got a spiritual leader and someone that has been praying for you, pray for them back. You know, it is definitely good to keep your leadership lifted up in prayer. They appreciate it, and it makes you feel good. It makes them feel good when they feel all those extra prayers going up on their behalf. A special shout out to my mentor and spiritual leader, Dr. Hunt. Dr. Hunt has been with me 30 plus years. And I tell you, he's been tolerating me all those years. That's an awful lot of tolerating, okay? But I love him for what he does and what he has done. And I thank him each and every chance I get. So now let's go over here and talk about my website. I want to invite each and every one of you to go over to my website. And when you get over there, where's my website? Come on up. Yeah, my computer wants to act like it did. I didn't hit the button. All right, it's in there. There we go. www.ask-dr-ron.com. When you get over there, I want you to scroll down and take a look at some of the advertisers. We have a few of them listed here. That's RRJ Web, Sir Synergy, Port Again Sam, and Prince Hunter Financial Group. Now, these are just a few of the advertisers that help make it possible for us to do what we do here. And I like to call their names in particular because these are the ones that offer specials. Okay. So Synergy is a company that is helping people save on their energy bill. They deal with solar panels, alternative energy solutions to help save you money. You definitely want to click on their um, uh, flyer that we have on the page and check out what they can do for your home. Port Again Sam brings in some of the best wines and spirits from all over the world. You definitely want to check him out and make yourself a wine tasting and get over there and find out what he's got going on with the wine tasting, because that will allow you to be able to, get some exclusive stuff that you can't get anywhere else. Also, Prince Hunter Financial Group. Now, if you're interested in finding out how to trade the stock market, the Forex market, and make some real money, he's offering free classes. Four free classes. Okay. If you um, get in contact with him, click on the banner that he has in the advertisement, then you can definitely get your four free classes and begin the process of learning how to trade and make money, okay? Because that's what it's all about. Learning, acquiring the skills in order to be able to learn how to make money. So, also, you can scroll up to the top of my website and you'll see all of my social media. All of my social media. You'll see my Facebook, my Instagram. You'll see my Twitter account. You'll also see a tab for my YouTube. Go over to my YouTube, and when you get over there, please click on it and subscribe, like and share with a whole lot of people that you know, so that they'll know what's going on. Okay, so that's what's up with that. So now, like I was saying before, we have a lovely young lady that has been on the show before. It's been some years. I'm going to say almost 10 years ago she was on the show. And I tell you, Miss Jaime has relocated to another part of the world. She don't even live here in Chicago no more. But she's still a book author. She is a comedian by day and night. So, Miss Jamie, when she first came on the show, she had completed her first book. Okay, and when she did her first book, she came on, she talked about it, and I tell you, many people have fallen in love with Miss Jamie. Miss Jamie got a fan club, y'all, and I'm sure many of them are tuned in now. So I'm going to welcome back to the show Miss Jaime A. Gill. Hello, Miss Jaime.
Well, hello, Dr. Ron. How are you?
I'm doing fine. How you doing?
I'm great. I'm great. I'm so excited to be here with you
Uh
virtually.
huh.
I enjoy talking to you and being on your show. It's always a good
Yes, it
time.
is, and I'm glad to have you. It's been. I mean, literally, it's been almost 10 years since you were on the show. Yeah,
2011. Yeah.
literally. I was thinking about it. I said, how long has this been? It's been a while.
Mm,
Yeah, and
it
and
is.
and now you're.
And you didn't forget about little old me.
No, I've been in touch with you continuously over the years, but now you've got what, three books? You got three
Yes.
books
Three.
now, and
Yes.
you're doing motivational speaking all over the world.
Well, yeah, we'll say the world, speak it into existence.
Well, you jet set
All
all
over the
over the
country.
place.
Yes, I'm always on the
Yeah,
move. I only have one life to live, so why stay in one spot,
yeah.
right?
So why don't you tell the people what has happened to you and for you over the last 10 years? I know that could take up a lot of time, but go right ahead.
How long is this show? Oh wow. When I was first on your show, I was a full-time television producer and editor for New Faith Baptist Church International. Shout out to New Faith.
I don't know what just happened. We're gonna try this again. Y'all stand by. Miss Jamie's call just dropped out. So we're gonna get her back on the line. Give us a second here. She'll be back connected with us in 1 second here. Okay, so we're connecting with her right now. Not sure what happened, but we lost internet or connection with her. Seems like her internet connection dropped out for some reason. And we're waiting on her to get back on the line with us.
I think.
There we go. We got her.
There we
Yeah, we got
go.
her
I was
back.
like, what
Okay, I don't know.
happened?
Something happened with the Skype. It just dropped out.
Oh, well, we're
Yes,
back.
we're back.
We are.
So
Um,
you were saying, what had happened?
in the last 10
Yes.
years. So yeah, so I went from doing full-time production and video editing, wrote my first book, Lessons for the Little Girl, published by 220 Publishing. And now I live in Daytona Beach, Florida. And I was relocated here by my mother's desire to retire
Okay.
and get out of the cold.
Okay.
And it was also a desire of mine to come and help my sister to take care of my dad, and which I did, and I'm glad that I did because I was here present for the last 2 years of his
Okay.
life, which is time that is forever embedded into my heart. And so I'm down here in Florida trying to figure it out, but I come home to Chicago absolutely every chance that I get.
Yeah. Yeah. Just recently, you were in Chicago in the middle of a snowstorm.
Yes,
I
I
was
was.
like, boy, that
Yes.
had to be fun. I'm sure you had
Yes.
forgot what being in snow was all about until that happened, right?
Well, I had been in snow before, but not that much snow. And so I did make sure that I stayed locked in my hotel room on the day of the
Yeah.
snowstorm, just because you do, even though I lived in Chicago, almost 40 years, at the end of the day, when you're removed from it, you got to reacquaint
That's
yourself
right.
to
That's
driving in
right.
snow.
That's right.
So I didn't want that lesson on my last
I know
visit.
that's
So
right. Yeah. Shout out to Donald Green all the way over in Phoenix, Arizona. He's tuned in with us today. Shout out to him. And while I'm shouting him out, I'm gonna say happy birthday once again because he just had a birthday on Sunday.
happy birthday,
Yes.
sir.
So many.
I do the Marilyn Monroe happy birthday.
Look at you. You might remember Donald Green. And I'm going to tell you why you might remember him. Remember the nightclub, Sweet Georgia Brown?
Very much so,
He was the
yes.
owner.
My grandfather was a permanent fixture in Sweet Georgia Brown, Mr. Otis Harris, Opie Harris. He always sat on the corner. So you may have known he passed several years ago, but yeah, my grandfather lived in
It's
Sweet
so
Georgia
funny you
Brown.
say that. I was talking to a good friend of mine not too long ago, and he was saying, you know, that some old person told him that you need to stop going to the nightclubs, being the old person sitting on the bar on the corner on the end. And
That's what
he went in there, one evening, and he went pulled up on the corner of the end of the bar, and then he started
mhm,
looking around. He said, "I'm the old person on the corner of the end of the bar." he
happens before you know it.
he said, "Man, he paid his tab and he was out of there."
I actually was in Sweet Georgia Brown's, or the formerly known as Sweet Georgia
hmm
Brown's, 2 trips
Okay.
ago, and it has a whole new feel there
Okay.
now. And so, but it seems to be doing well. I actually went to high school with one of the owners now, so it was good to see him, and
Okay.
so I wish them much success.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that's a good thing. So now you said you were doing production at the church. So is that
mhm.
still? Um, oh wow, Donald said good friend. He knew him. Yeah.
Yeah, oh,
Um,
small world.
and you got to figure he had to if he was sitting on the corner of his
He
bar,
lived there.
right? Yeah.
Lived there.
So do you still find yourself doing productions or being involved with productions? I know you and I laughed off air about this, so I think it's only fair that we bring it.
Are you sure it's there? Are you
Yeah,
sure?
we were talking about production, and
Hmm.
then we started talking about doing weddings and stuff like that, and then
Let me take a drink to
Yeah,
that.
and mutually agreed upon by both of us that we would never, ever, ever,
Ever,
shoot
ever.
another wedding, produce
If I
another
have any
wedding,
say so,
edit
man.
another wedding on purpose.
If I have any say so, I submit to the Lord. But if I have any say so, no.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: weddings are beautiful. It's a beautiful opportunity to be a part of somebody's journey. And there, I love to tell people's love story,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a lot of stress. It's just, it's more stress than I want. And here, and I tell people this all the time: doing shooting a editing or producing a wedding is more stressful than doing a live TV broadcast. And you being in production and media as many years as you have, you know how stressful a live broadcast
Oh
can be.
baby. Woo.
A wedding is 10 times more stressful.
Oh my God.
Give me 10 live broadcasts, live concert, NBA game, anything.
Oh man. And and
I,
people all of a sudden know more than you know.
yes.
I mean, and they ain't even got nothing to do with the wedding party.
Yes, and you have to shoot everything. You gotta shoot Uncle Otis's, 10-minute song, and you have to shoot the baby's dance down the aisle, and they want it all in the video. And they want to pay you $50 and give you a free meal at the
Come on
banquet.
now. Now you know you preaching. All right. Look,
Yeah.
you just said a mouthful right there. They do not want to pay.
They don't. They don't.
They feel like that dried up chicken dinner that they paid for 6 months ago because
And
look,
Mazzacholi.
because it wasn't dried up when they tricked them into it. Okay.
That's
But by
right.
the
That's
time they go
right.
to serve it to all them hundreds of people that's in that ballroom,
That's
and
right.
them rubber vegetables
Oh
and
God.
them watered down mashed potatoes,
And dry rolls that you can knock somebody out with.
yeah. And they talking about, oh well, we're gonna get you a plate.
That's
No,
I'm
no,
good.
no,
I'm good.
no, no.
I stopped at the drive-through on the way. I'm
Yeah,
good.
yeah. And they don't, I swear to God, they ain't got no money.
Ever,
Never.
because I spent it all on the wedding
Oh
that
my,
lasts
oh
for
no,
6
or the bachelor
on the
party and the
wedding.
bridal
Yeah.
party, that's where all the money went. Cause
I really learned though in shooting weddings. Actually, I have to thank weddings because it was my teacher in knowing your value. Because you really have to know what you bring to the table in any industry. But because people will underpay you all the
all the
time.
time.
And I had to recognize that it's okay to say no, and you're not obligated to say yes just because you know them from church or because and this is not to every wedding that I shot. This is not, because some people were, treated me very well and paid as they should
Mm-hmm.
have. But for the few of you out there, you know who you are.
Baby, please. I won't do it. I won't do it. I've got a friend
Yeah.
of mine that when they call me up talking about they want a wedding or they
Mhm.
want a birthday party
Mhm.
or anything, they want a photographer. I said, hold
Mhm.
on.
He said, let me recommend
I
something
said,
for you.
hold on.
I do miss production. I don't have the equipment that I had when I lived in Chicago, and so I do miss it a little bit, and so I do it on a very small scale. A lot of the business that I've always gotten has always been by word of mouth, and so I still do some editing projects for people who are trying to, get their books out or start their business. So they need something small that they can put on social media, because I am this is my go-to statement. I am a creature created by the creator to create. And so my very essence is to create. And so I still dabble. I still dabble a little bit, and but I'll be getting my editing fingertips a little more wet in the up and coming years.
Okay.
So I'm looking
All right.
forward
So
to it.
you ain't sick and tired of being sick and tired yet, huh?
Not
Okay.
completely,
All
no.
right.
But the projects that I do have to be, I have to feel led to. I can't be driven by the dollar anymore, because a lot of times you do that to get your name out there. And it finally hit me, and I'm not dare saying that I have arrived on any level, but you have to realize that at some point you don't have to keep doing things to build your resume, or to get your name out there. And that is not the arena that I've never had to, and that's only been a blessing by God. I've never had to advertise or have business cards for production. Literally every business that I have ever received from production has been word of mouth. And so I take that near and dear to my heart. And so I try to keep those relationships and take care of those people as they come back year after year to ask me to do little things for them. And we'll see. Once I begin to build my studio up here in Florida, then maybe we'll see. I'll never say
Yeah.
never.
Well, the one thing about experiencing those types of events, and they are an experience, you know what
Mhm.
you don't want to do anymore. After
That's
you get into them and you see the work that's involved, and
yeah.
the emotion that's involved, because it's only one time to capture those types of events. It's
That's
like a
true.
news event. So you arrive in a situation where news is breaking and something is going down live. This
Hmm.
is it. You got one opportunity to get to
Shot.
capture it, and to
Hmm.
try and be able to, it's not a paparazzi thing. Well, if
No.
I don't get them today, I'll get them tomorrow. It's not
Yeah.
that type of event. This is something that's somebody's golden moment. And
That's
and
true.
you know, and I've always approached every project that I've ever done sincerely, and I put my heart into it. You know,
That's true.
but it takes so much out of you. It's a
Hmm.
draining situation, and you're like, okay, I don't have to feel like this. Not on purpose.
And I think that life experience and maturity teaches you what's for you. There are some things that I believe that you should try anything. Well, let me temper this statement. You should try some things that you're curious about.
Okay.
Let me
Yeah.
You should, you should try some things that you're curious about, because you never know what you're really good at. I know that initially, what a lot of people don't know is that my love for production, ironically, came with the death of Princess
Oh wow.
Diana. I'll never forget it. It was like it was yesterday. I was living in Richton Park, and my mother was taking my braids out, helping me take my braids out. And I was watching, all the various television stations capture her funeral. And there was a shot of a girl standing at the gate, holding onto the gate, and a tear fell down her cheek. And they faded a picture of Princess Diana in that tear ever so perfectly. And then they faded the picture of Diana into the flowers that were laying at the castle. And I'm crying. You would have thought Princess and Diana was best friends since kindergarten. I'm bawling, sitting in my living room, and I said, I want to be able to do that. I want to be able to provoke emotion in such a way in people that will allow people to feel connected to somebody and something that's a completely different world away from me, that I am not directly connected to, but I feel as if she's my very own family member. And that was the day that I knew I wanted to do production. I always wanted to be a journalist. I wanted to work for, I loved 2020 growing up. Most kids was watching cartoons all day. I was watching Hugh Downs and Barbara Walters. Peter Jennings was my husband in my head. I grew up loving journalism. And so I wanted to be, that girl at the desk that people trusted to give them their world news. But after Princess Diana, I was like, put me behind the scenes.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah.
understand. In my career, I started out a whole lifetime ago in the 70s, and I was in front of the microphone. I always like to say, and then I
Hmm.
realized one day I woke up. I said, you know what? I'm only going to be able to make money doing this in front of the microphone thing as long as I'm popular. So when I'm
Hmm.
not popular anymore, I like the business so much, I need to start learning more parts of it. So then I
That's true.
got behind the camera, behind the microphone, and I started learning everything that they didn't want me to learn about everything: production, theater, I learned everything. They didn't want me there because I was a person of color. They
Hmm.
didn't have Columbia School of Broadcast at the time. None of those things existed. They had a few pockets of people that were teaching things, and I mean pockets, small. But here we are, 45 plus years later, and it's been a good experience, a good ride. And along the way, I've had some wonderful stories that I've accumulated that every now and then I get to tell some of them. But just
Hmm.
being
True testament of your gift making room
there,
for
you
you.
go. So,
Hmm.
but I enjoyed it so much along the way, meeting people, being in different places, and production is still something that I have. I mean, look what I'm doing now. I'm producing a whole show,
Right.
so, and it ain't a bad looking show if I might say so myself.
I, I'm pretty impressed.
Look, it ain't no tear crying down nobody's face or nothing, but it's still all right.
This is a good start.
Yeah, it's all right. Look, I don't want people crying every time they see me on the air.
It gets the job
There you
done,
go.
and that's the
There
only
you
thing that
go. There you
matters.
go.
The only thing
So,
that matters.
if somebody came along with the right project, you know, you would not hesitate to say, "Okay, I'll consult you on it. I'll help you with it," or something like that. Is that pretty much where you are now?
Yeah, see, for me, the thing that I've learned to embrace is the gift that I offer. That I offer. A lot of we're in a day and age where everything is high technology now. So everybody wants a flying logo and a shooting star name. And I am not a graphic artist girl, and I'm not into high effects, but nobody can tell your story like I
Right.
can. And so I consult all the time for people, and a lot of times I don't even necessarily take the job, but I know how God has given me the ability to ask the right questions to get people's minds stirring on what they want to do. Because I learned working in ministry that oftentimes people don't know what they want until you show them or kind of tell them something. Because if people have never had a video done for them before or any level or a voiceover done, because I did a lot of voiceover work in Chicago, people don't know what they want their script to say.
Right.
They don't know what message they're trying to get out into the world. But when you begin to probe them and kind of prick their brains, a lot of people don't even know, which may be shocking, who their target audience
Right.
is. Who do you want to come to your event? Who do you want this to get out to? And then they're gonna go well, everybody. Really
Yeah.
everybody? Or is it only this type of person or these specific
Right.
people? And so when you just begin to probe people, so yeah, I'm always open for the right opportunity to do anything, honestly. So
Yeah.
yeah, you
It's
never know.
interesting. One of your former coworkers, Terry.
Terry Reed,
Yes,
T
yes,
Reed,
yes. It was
shout out to Terry.
interesting. Terry and I were talking one day, and we were talking about ministry projects,
Hmm.
and he began to talk about what the focus of the television ministry was at New Faith. It
Hmm.
wasn't about making a superstar out of the leader, but to focus
Yeah.
what the ministry did and what they do. And that's the
Hmm.
way that's the way you all, because you were there at the time, you all
Yeah.
programmed your programming to reflect that. You know,
This is what a lot of people don't realize about New Faith. Um, New Faith's assignment is bigger than anybody that has been or ever will be pastor there. God put that church together specifically where He put it and how He put it, meaning every step of the journey. I've had some amazing experiences at New Faith while I was there for 22
hmm
years, and I was able to see a lot. And I had the amazing opportunity to be a part of the pastoral search committee when Pastor Frank left and went to Mississippi Boulevard in Memphis, Tennessee, and before Pastor Trinell Felder and Dr. Alexis Felder came. And so being 21, at the time, and being able to be in a position that most young people would have never even thought about or dreamed of. And the fact that they still chose me is still mind blowing to be a part of that process. But that's when I really began to learn that the assignment of New Faith was much bigger. When they built the new edifice for New Faith, that's currently that people see, the beautiful building. What a lot of people don't recognize is that some of those plans were a part of the plans that Pastor Frank had also saw for New Faith. So, of course, there were changes because every leader has a different vision and a different assignment that people need to realize. But when God has something that he needs to do through a people
Mm-hmm.
and through a place, it's going to happen no matter who the leadership
Exactly.
is. And so,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, and it was something else that you did that I know I was leading into this. You have a passion for young people because I witnessed you for so many years work with the youth and teaching them how to work cameras, how to do production, how to do so many things there. And I know that's a passion of yours dealing with young people and some of the many jobs that you've even had here in Chicago. You work with
Yeah.
young people. So, talk about that a little bit. What's that about? You take them kids and twist their mind around and make them all right.
Don't, not on purpose. I just feed them and trick them. No, I'm
Uh-huh.
kidding. Um, I often say that I believe that God crystallized my youth experiences in my heart to be relatable and to connect with young people. Young people are amazing because they're so smart, but they're sponges. And so you have to be careful what you expose them to because they literally will soak up anything that you expose them to, good or
Right.
bad. But if you allow them to know, and this is the most important thing in any arena, that their opinion counts.
Right.
It may not, like, okay, what do you think we should do? Okay, well, that's not going to work on this project, but let's revisit that because I want to come back and visit that and see where we can go with that. Most of us are literally, and that's essentially what the titles of my books are about. Lessons for little girl, lessons for little boys. All of us have this little girl and little boy inside of us that we want to be seen, we want to be validated. And so what I God gave me an amazing opportunity to do is just give young people the platform to be heard and to be seen and to be validated. And there were times I remember one of my favorite Sunday school lessons that I will never forget. I was teaching young people. Of course, it just happened to be on relationships and sex. And so we're talking to the young people, and this young man, because my kids told me everything. I literally had kids come and give me their weed during Sunday school, like, Miss Gill, I felt so bad, I want you to have this. I'm like, and you can't condemn them, and you can't be like, why you bring this in the church? I'm like, well, thank you, I don't know what this is. I have to act, I don't know what this is or what you want me to do with it, but thank you for giving it to me if you're not supposed to have it. And they're like, Miss Gill, you don't know what that is? No, why don't you tell me what it is, and why did you have it? So what did you use it for? And you give them the space to be able to talk
Uh-huh.
about it. So this one young man, I will not say his name, but he came up and he's like, Miss Gill. And I said, what's the matter? He was like, you gotta help me. I said, help you do what? He said, I really want to have sex with this girl, but I know I probably shouldn't. And so I'm sitting there like, this is a life-changing moment. Like, I have to give him the right answer, right? So I'm sitting there, and he says this in front of the entire class. He was like, "She fine, and she have over her house." And I mean, and I'm sitting there like, God, please just take me. If you want to take me to glory now, this I'm okay with that. Because what do I say? I did not see an old fogey was just like, just say no to sex, and sex is bad, because kids don't believe that because culture and music is telling you that it's good
Right,
and it's
right,
fun.
right.
Right. And so I said, well, why do you want to have sex with her?
Wow.
So I began to get them to think about it, right? all right, let's think about it beyond the hormonal excitement that you're feeling right now because you're sweating just talking about this girl, right? So let's move past the emotional place of it. So, okay, so sex for you would mean what? Is this a commitment for you? Is just something to do? So once the kids begin to talk about all of the external reasons of why they may want to do it, they come up with their own resolutions and I'm set free and I don't have to say anything. But they
So how many babies him and that little girl got now?
none.
Oh,
They well, I think
okay.
he's married. He made it through high school and as far as I know college without any
Okay.
children. He is a father now and the last that I talked to him, I think he was married or getting married, but this was of course many years ago.
Right.
But I just wanted them to get through
So
just get them through high
just
school.
get off your clock, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, get out. Well, at the end of the day, be in a space where you're responsible for. Don't do that to your
Right.
parents. Like, do that to your
Right.
parents. But more importantly, I never wanted them. I was blessed to never. I always said I never wanted to have children until I got married, and so because I never got married, I never had
Okay.
children, and that was something that I was very intentional about. Um, and I know that everyone doesn't have that opportunity, but if you can control it, which we can, children just don't pop up in your bellies, girls, and men just don't randomly become father. There's a very intentional act that usually
Yep.
occurs.
Very much so.
But make it a conscious decision. And I just wanted to create a world and a culture of thinkers where you own your actions. And sometimes you're going to, because I'm not dare saying that I've been perfect in my life. God knows. I don't want some stories to get out. But the reality is that I owned it. I owned my decisions. And so if I got caught or if something happened, I'm like, well, yeah, I did that. And I wanted them to be able to own their decisions. And so I love working with young people. I always tell my friends here in Florida, if I never give birth to a child, I am okay because I have thousands. God has allowed me to be connected to young people through the church, through working at Homewood Flossmoor High School, through coaching. So it's something that still fills my heart. I have students that still call me all these years. They call me on Mother's
Oh
Day,
wow.
them and their
Wow.
parents call me on Mother's Day and say thank you for partnering with me to raise my child and speak into their life. And they call me on my birthday and to check on me when my dad died. And
Yeah.
so they're still very much a part of my
That's
life.
a
Yeah.
beautiful thing. It's when you mentoring and you touch someone and you leave an impression on them, you see the seed sprout and grow over time.
Hmm.
Like I had something to do with that. You might have planted the seed and somebody else watered it, but
Yeah.
then it turns into something that's, remarkable that you can, say like, wow, I enjoyed looking at that, seeing that turn out the way that it turned out. So that's a beautiful thing.
And it blows my mind because a lot of my students are married
Yeah.
now and, parents and starting their own businesses. I have one of my former speech students, she's on
Mm,
Broadway. Like, and so you begin to see these young people on television and pursuing their dreams. It warms your heart. And I never want any credit for anything, but just to see them living in their destiny, that's the greatest sense of gratitude because it's just like, man, you know what I mean? They
yeah.
could have ended up anywhere,
Yeah.
but because I had a little part, just a very little
But it
part in
was
their
the right
journey.
part, Yeah.
Yeah, amen to
Yeah, it was the
that's right.
right part to play, because I tell you, some kid came up to me, including my own, talking about I'm ready to have sex. I'm gonna be doing.
I mean, it was excited.
Look, I'm gonna be like, first of all, male or female, and then secondly, do you got a condom? We're gonna make sure all the safety is covered first.
Right,
It was so
right.
funny when my son came. I shouldn't be telling. He gonna be mad at me. My son came to live with me after being with his mother down in Nashville, giving her a hard time. 17, 18 years old, 17, and he was feeling his wild oats. He started getting some on a regular basis, and the little girl was about to get him killed. because it was a black and white situation. Okay, he black and she
Oh,
was white.
mhm.
Okay, in Tennessee. Okay,
Okay.
so I'm like, so she's like, I got to get you out of town because you about to mess up real bad. So she got in
Mm-hmm.
the car and drove 500 miles from Nashville to Chicago and dropped him off on my doorstep. Hey, here's your son. You finish raising him. And I'm like, okay.
Here we go.
Right. So at the time, I was working with a not for profit organization that used to
Mm-hmm.
do AIDS testing and AIDS counseling, for young people. So
Mm-hmm.
every event that we had, I made him get tested for the first 2 to 3 months that he was living with me. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
boy, you've been out there doing whatever you've been doing. You're gonna have to take a test.
Yeah,
Every
that's right.
chance and it was so funny because there was like rapid results.
Mm-hmm.
For them first 3 months,
The longest 2, 3 minutes of your life.
look, every time his test came back negative, he was like, "Whew, I passed
You
again."
For anybody that's had to go through that,
Oh my
you
God.
literally are thinking your
Oh
entire
my God.
life.
It was so funny. So
Yeah.
after a while, he got to that point where he wasn't worried no more. He said, "Oh yeah, sure. Let me step up to the front of the line, show these young people how to do this, because it ain't that hard to do." He got cocky with
Yes.
it after a while. It was
Yeah. But
hilarious.
again, that's taking ownership of, like, if you're going to do
Uh
this,
huh.
if you're going to go down this road, then you have to know. I used to always tell them, if you when you think you're ready, wait. And then when you think you're ready again, wait again. Because usually it's just a moment that you're all fired up. But if you really think about the person or the situation, do you really want to be connected to that forever ever?
Well, come on
Like,
now. Look. Some grown
you
folks I
know,
know needed that one.
you know,
Hey,
well, they say you can skate by the hair of your chinny chin chin. Like,
yeah, baby.
it's just,
Look,
it's just, if you just, and it's not easy. I don't dare, for young people that may be listening or adults that may be listening, I'm not dare saying that it's easy. But when you think about, like, man, I'm a really dope. My statement for the year is I am dope. Like, man, I'm dope. Like, I am really a great person. I have a lot to offer. But then you like, but if something happened with ma'am or sir, and something happened, whether we're talking about a child or a disease,
right,
or or let's be honest, it's stuff out here now that's gonna straight kill you. It ain't even a disease, it's just a death
right,
ticket. Like, is it that moment really worth it?
right.
And it's not always an easy decision, but I at least want people to begin to
Think about it.
what they say, there's power in the
Right.
pause.
Think about it.
Just pause.
Now, that brings me up to a good segue into these books of yours because you've done quite a few books that were mentoring tools and
Hmm.
make you think about it. You knocked me off my chair and my socks went flying off. You did a monologue when we were doing a test a couple of days ago about lipstick,
Hmm.
and I'll tell you, I ain't been right since. I was like, she
You'll
said,
never see lipstick the
yeah,
same.
she honored me by doing a monologue from one of her books or one of her
That's an
projects.
up and coming project. So you really got the sneak
Yeah.
preview.
And I was saying to myself, because like she said earlier in the first segment about, how she used to do voiceovers, and this was from her heart. And she did it. And I tell you, it was, I ain't gonna say I cried, but it pricked my heart. You know what I'm saying? You know how you get a prick in your heart. You like you've been pricked.
Yeah.
You know, like Jesus said, "Who touched me?" You know, he looking around. He's and the disciples looking at him talking about who touched you. Everybody touched you,
Everybody said
right? No, it was something that touched me. The virtue,
mm-hmm.
just was
Yeah.
taken out of me.
Oh,
So
thank you.
it was one of those moments that I will never forget. And I say openly thank you for that because it
You're welcome.
was, something that reminded me of who you are and your mission and your purpose. And in your books, because you have, and I reminded you, you're going to have to sign me one of them books and, bring it to me or something like that, but let's talk about
Something.
your books.
So I had lessons for the little girl here, but I somebody actually bought it from me right as I was leaving Chicago. So they took my last copy. But lessons for the little girl was published in 2014, and it's like your first child. It always be very near and dear to your heart. That was my first book. And it literally, and this what people don't understand, it was my journal. I am a avid journaler. I write all of the time. Just because there's a whole lot going on. Ron, you like this when I do this.
Yeah.
It's a whole lot going on in this brain of
Yeah.
mine. So I have to get it out. And so I was writing and I was asked to speak at a international youth conference on the East Coast. And I was like, oh my God, okay. So I'm trying to figure out, and I'm going through my journal, trying to figure out what I need to tell these people from all over the world. Because it's different when you're talking to some kids from the suburbs or the city or from, Chicagoland, because every demographic is different. But I'm like, these are kids from everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So I was looking back over my journal and I said, I want to be able to leave the young people with something.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I had a pamphlet, or at the time I didn't have a website or anything. And I was flipping and I said, this is a book. And it literally was, that's how it hit me. Like, what I wrote in my journal is a book. And at the time I had a radio show. Did I have the radio show, or was the radio show right after? The radio show was right after that. But I put the book together. I took the journal entries and I just decided that this is what's going to, and it was all laid out right there. And lo and behold, the conference got
Mm.
canceled. So I said, well, I'll have this book. I'll publish it one day. It probably costs $1 million to publish a book. So I'll just put it on the dream list. Well, I ended up developing a radio show with my friend Alicia Bowens, The Love Perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a mutual Facebook friend, Glenn Murray, that we both knew was a publisher. And was like, oh, well, I want to write a book one day. I know some people that want to write, but let's bring him on and hear about the writing process. Well, lo and behold, he came on the show. He did a wonderful job, and the whole time, you talk about that prick or that nudging. I kept feeling like God was like, "Tell him about your book. Tell him about your book." I'm like, I'm not telling him about my book. I don't have no money to publish no book. Like, I'm just swatting this voice out of my head to get through the interview. Well, yeah, I couldn't do that. I had to tell him about the book. He's like, "Well, send it to me." Sent it to him, and before you know it, I had a book deal. And so, Lessons for the Little Girl is literally lessons that I learned as a little girl that I then put proposition to you with a question at the end to then ask you a question. I know that at the end of the day that I am a mirror, that God sent me here to help people to reflect on their own lives. I told you when we were prepping for the test that I am a certified life coach, but I don't like to use that title because everybody's a life coach now. And so, but the reality is that at the heart of me, I'm a self reflection enthusiast. I want people to recognize who they are and deal with their stuff, the good stuff, the bad stuff, the stuff that they're unsure about. And so, Lessons for the Little Girl was born, and it ran rapid fire. It was one of the fastest selling books in the publishing company at that time. And God kept telling me this is only the beginning. And so now I have Lessons for the Little Boy, which is my new baby, that I absolutely love. And it is literally the man's opportunity to have that same moment of reflection. And so these 13 amazing men from all over, um, from they do everything. They're businessmen, they're actors, they're fathers, they're husbands, they are preachers. They share their experiences through life, through relationships, through their estranged relationships with their fathers, the things they wish they had learned, the things that they learned later in life, the things that they think would be good tools to help men navigate. And so God gave me the amazing opportunity to be the vessel that this book came through, to be able to help men to have that same opportunity to reflect. And so that's what I do. And the third book, The Sisterhood, is a compilation book that I had an opportunity to be a part of with another publishing company, Shiro Publishing. Shout out to Erica Perry Green. And there's 18 women in this book, and we share our stories of entrepreneurship. And I have the amazing opportunity to share with people that your path is your path. Stop trying to compare it to everybody else's. Stop thinking that you have to quit your job to be an entrepreneur. If God calls you to do that, then do that. But if you have to go to work first and then stay up late to pursue the dream, then do that,
Amen.
because your job may
Yeah,
finance your
that's
dream,
right.
and so I want to, while I'm here on this earth, I want to be able to give as much of myself and as much of God to people, to help them to live their best life. And that's truly my life's mission, to recognize their value. And that's part of what I shared with you in the lipstick, in the upcoming book, is that I am more than a woman whose relationship matters and what my womb can produce. If I never get married and I never birth a child, that I still have value to give to this world. And ultimately, I want everybody to realize that, no matter what their journey
All
is.
right
So,
now. Yeah, that was
yeah.
so profound. Now, in your dissertation, you mentioned that you were a broadcaster with your Alicia Bowens.
Yes,
So
yes.
now, are you going to be going back into broadcasting again? Or
You stop calling me out on the carpet, Ron. You like to do that. But yes, the love perspective, lives of vision and empowerment. It's not about what you see, but how you see it.
uh-huh.
Um, we literally wanted to help people to live a life of vision and empowerment, because I believe deeply when the Bible says, without a vision, the people
Yes.
perish. If you don't have a plan for your life, somebody else will plan it, and that person can be your parents, your family, your boss, your spouse, your kids. Everybody else will have a plan for your life. And so Alicia and I had an amazing show, where we brought people on from all walks of life to be able to talk about that very thing. So we would have everything from business owners, the publisher, as I told you. One of my favorite shows was Love from the Men's Perspective, because I don't think that we hear from men enough about relationships. And a show that stays with me to this day is a young lady who created an organization to allow family members of those
Mm,
who committed suicide, to have a place to express their grief, and confusion, because often in suicide, you don't have
right.
answers of why.
Right.
And her father was a very prominent doctor. The family had just came back from vacation, and she came home from school, and her father had killed himself by carbon monoxide poisoning in the
Mm,
car. And they just had a beautiful family vacation, and so she didn't there was so much confusion, and she went through confusion and sadness and anger, and it was just all of these. So she created an organization where, through the arts, people were able to come and talk about it, act it out, dance it out. And that show always stays with me, because I recognize that she took something that was very dark and created such a beautiful light, not only for herself and her family, but for others. And so, yes, the radio show will be back, because the mission is not complete.
so what is 2.0 going to look like? Is it going to still be the same format, or you guys haven't talked about it? Is it going to be the
No,
same?
no,
You're going
we've had quite a few
to,
conversations about
okay,
it, actually. 2.0 is definitely going to be different, because I'm in Florida
okay.
now. And so she's there in Chicago. And so we're actually going to I'm not going to reveal all the sauce,
Okay.
but some of the secrets are the fact that we want to be able to not only bring back some of our guests from the past that we're very excited that we think has such a really powerful show, but to then begin to truly implement. Alicia and I think we lit a lot of fires,
Mm-hmm.
but now we want to truly give people some action opportunities to be able to pursue their dreams. Don't just dream, but like go live it
Yeah,
for
you're
real.
right.
And so there'll be some follow-up shows to the, the initial, like, okay, here's how you do it, but now let's do an accountability show. So did you go out and do it?
Right.
And so that'll be included with conferences and events where people can physically attend. And so I'm excited about it.
Yeah,
I'm very
my
excited.
feelings was hurt. I mean, I thought we was friends, and Alicia, I knew Alicia very well too, and I'm like, they never invited me on their show. I'm like, dang, was my reputation that bad?
Really, Ron? Really? You gonna do like that? You gonna put your name on this show? That's what you gonna do to me? All right. Okay. Got
Well, I had a
y'all see how
reputation
look
of,
in the camera when I say this. Y'all see how he doing me,
yeah,
right?
look, I had a reputation. They might have been afraid of what I might say and do, so I can understand.
At all. We didn't get to half of the people
Yeah,
that
yeah,
we went from 102.3 and then we went to urban broadcast media and then I moved here.
yeah,
And so,
yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're
so
right.
don't worry. Your time is coming. Just make sure you
I'm
ready.
always ready, baby. You know that. You know.
That's
Look, we got about 4 minutes left on this broadcast.
it.
See how fast time goes when you're having fun.
That's right.
So now, where can they find your books? I see that you have your website information here,
Mhm.
JaimeAGill.com. They can reach over there,
Mhm.
get your contact. They can
Yes.
order books. They can reach out to
Yes.
you for appearances, bring you in for speaking
Yes.
engagements, and
Yes.
all sorts of stuff like that. So if they go to your website, they'll be able to get most of your general information there.
Yeah, and it is. It's my website is being built, and so you will at least be able to leave your contact information. You'll be able to get the books or send me a note and say, how do I get the books? I want my books. A lot of people want autographed books, which is always a special honor for me, so I can get them to you. I am definitely able to come out to schools, churches, because I believe that being able to be present as those teachings are happening, book clubs, churches, men's groups, women group. I love to be able to connect with people
Right.
and to have those conversations, even virtually. So it doesn't always have to be an in-presence thing, but sometimes virtually does the job as well. So please, I'm a real person. I'm completely approachable.
Yeah, you're right.
It won't be somebody else reaching out to you. It'll be myself. I haven't I can't I haven't paid for an
There you
assistant yet.
go.
So
There you go. Well, I want to say this. Thank you. It has been an honor and a privilege to have you back on the show. I've enjoyed every minute of it. You are ageless. You have not changed a bit over the last 10 years. And
just my hair.
yeah, but I mean, you're still such a sweet and warm person. And I just want to continue to encourage you and keep you uplifted in any way that I can. So I'm glad you took time out of your busy schedule because she got a busy schedule, y'all. She's like 24 hours on the game, boy. She ain't playing. And look,
I'm just trying to get the Dr. Ron status. That's all. I mean, can you blame
yeah,
me?
hey, I ain't mad at you. So with the last couple of minutes that we have left in the show, I always like to ask this question of my guests. What would you like to leave with the people before we get out of here today?
Oh, I would like to leave that whatever you're going through, keep going. Just keep going and keep growing. There is assignment and there is purpose in you and on you and for you. And I know it doesn't always look like that, but I promise you, your dreams are worth the work. Your dreams are worth the work. And you literally can create it. You just have to put the fear. Don't be your own roadblock. That's probably ultimately the biggest lesson. Get out your own way and truly allow yourself the opportunity to live the life that you want.
Amen. That's
So,
that's
yeah.
powerful right there. Well, we have a lot more we could talk about, but today's show is coming to an end. So I always like to ask, will you come back again?
Of
All
course.
right.
Of
I got it on
course.
I got it on broadcast. Y'all heard it, y'all. She said she'll come back. So look, stay right there.
Anytime.
Don't go anywhere. We're gonna end the show for today. Um,
Thank you for watching.
yes. One thing I want to do is flip over here and invite you all to come join me on Thursdays on Street News Now on Facebook and YouTube Live each and every Thursday at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. You can find us. We have six guys and you, and we have some very interesting topics and conversations that I want to encourage you all to come check us out. Also, we're going to throw this up there where you can see where to make contributions. I have all of the known places, Cash App, Zelle, PayPal. Also, go over to my website, support my advertisers, ask-dr-ron.com. Please go over there, check out all my social media, go up to my YouTube channel, go over there, subscribe, like, and share. Please spread the word around. Let folks know what we're doing out here. This is the end of the show for this week. Once again, I thank my guest, Miss Jaime Gill, for coming on and being with us. And I want to have her back on with us again in the future. I ain't gonna wait 10 years next time, y'all. I'm gonna get her back sooner,
Thank you.
soon as possible. I'm gonna try and make sure, because every time she turn around, I'm gonna make sure I bring her back on. So we love you guys. Be safe. Please wear your mask. Don't fall for the rope a dope. And be safe.